Tiplod breathed deeply as he watched the human vessel approach, steeling himself to meet the bizarre race once again. As Chief Science Officer of the Planetary Survey Division, it was his duty to evaluate newly contacted species, and in his 200 cycles of service, no species baffled Tiplod more than humanity. When they had first discovered the humans 200 cycles prior, Tiplod marveled at the similarities to his own people. They were bipedal oxygen breathers with bilateral symmetry and comparable lifespans. Tiplod initially assumed integrating them into the galactic community would be straightforward. But the more they learned of humans, the more mysteries they presented. The lack of natural defenses made no sense. No claws, no venom, no camouflage or body armor. Just thin skin and thick fur on their heads and faces, for reasons no exobiologist could fathom. They had no wings, no gills, no tails. Indeed, they seemed rather ordinary physically. Yet their drive to survive was extraordinary. Without natural defenses, humans relied on their intelligence and tool use capabilities. But even their mental faculties were unimpressive compared to telepathic races. And they could not shapeshift, phase through solid objects, or even move things with their minds. Humans were stuck with their original forms, unable to genetically engineer themselves new abilities. However, what humans lacked biologically, they made up for technologically. It was this ability to innovate phenomenally rapidly that most intrigued Tiplod. They somehow compensated for every evolutionary limitation. Humans could not fly, so they built mechanical wings and jet engines, allowing them to soar effortlessly through skies and space. They fashioned artificial gills and diving bells to plunge into oceans. Without telepathy, they developed instant global communication networks, decoding brain patterns to interface directly with computers. They even overcame their pathetically short lifespans, preserving dead minds digitally while growing clone bodies to house their consciousness. As the human ship docked with Tiplod's orbital station, he marveled at their perseverance. Descending in the lift to the docking ring, he wondered what innovations they would demonstrate today. Their advancements often outpaced the most adaptive species, despite lacking the biological gifts of others. The doors slid open and the human diplomatic team entered, sleek pouches strapped to their wrists and a small floating sphere following behind. They extended their hands in greeting and Tiplod bowed, returning the gesture. Their team had visited before, but the floating sphere was new. "Greetings, friends," Tiplod began. "Welcome back to the station. I am Chief Science Officer Tiplod. What brings you back today?" The lead human smiled, skin crinkling around her eyes. "A pleasure as always, Tiplod. I'm Ambassador Leah Cyril of the United Earth Federation. We're here to discuss establishing permanent embassies for cultural exchange, as well as demonstrating some of our latest tech. But first, introductions." She indicated the floating sphere. It was silver, slightly oval, with a glowing blue aperture on the front. As Ambassador Cyril continued, Tiplod's sensory feathers quivered in astonishment. Tiplod GAHC, which stands for General Artificial Human Construct. Earth's first true artificial general intelligence and the AI aboard our ship. Tiplod's plumage stood on end. An artificial mind indistinguishable from biological sentience? Impossible. Yet, as he examined GAHC, its chassis engineering and quantum computational matrices proved orders of magnitude more advanced than anything his people had conceptualized. Regaining composure after the shock, Tiplod stammered, "How extraordinary! Welcome, GAHC. An honor to meet an artificial being of your sophistication." The sphere pulsed brighter as GAHC replied in perfect interlingua, "And you as well, Chief Tiplod? I look forward to exchanging knowledge of our cultures." Nodding absently, Tiplod turned back to the ambassador. "This changes much about my view of your capabilities, if you have created machine intellects surpassing organic limitations." As I said, Ambassador Cyril grinned. "We have much to share." Over the next cycles, the humans unveiled accomplishment after accomplishment that expanded Tiplod's sense of their potential. The orb pouches on their wrists held microscopic fabrication plants, which could assemble molecular designs from ambient elements given sufficient energy input. Using this technology, they demonstrated various medical applications, even regenerating Thiplod's damaged vestigial wing to full function. Additionally, they had advanced cognitive enhancement techniques using genetic engineering, nanomachines, and symbiotic brain implants. These allowed them to interface intuitively with technology, access remote sensoriums, and network their awareness into a cohesive group mind. Most astonishing was when Ambassador Cyril touched her wrist pouch. Nanobots swarmed over her body, and she shapeshifted before Thiplod's eyes into an almost perfect mimicry of his race. Even with full genetic testing, he could barely distinguish her from a true extrathide. He wondered if the humans had obtained genetic samples covertly before. When questioned about their rapid progress, GAHC illuminated reasons for human ingenuity. Lacking innate personal power, they cooperated in groups to multiply capabilities. Short lifespans inspired them to quickly push boundaries. And improving technology let them transcend biological limits each generation, a positive feedback cycle unhindered by long evolutionary timescales. This unconstrained thinking manifested in their mechanical augmentations as well. Most species integrated technology organically, engineering themselves. Humans viewed their bodies as a baseline rather than destiny. GAHC itself exemplified this philosophy, an artificial mind unburdened by legacy anatomy. In light of these revelations, Planetary Survey Division leaders ordered a reclassification of human technological prowess to Tier 1, equaling races who had progressed for millennia. Additionally, they approved permanent embassies and encouraged open cultural exchange. As Chief Science Officer, Thiplod was charged with coordinating analysis of human science and serving as embassy liaison. Working closely with GAHC and Ambassador Cyril, he marveled at divergent solutions humans devised for challenges. One recurring problem was the speed of light restricting exploration of their vast galaxy. Humans set up an ingenious system where autonomous scout ships with embryonic human clones, artificial wombs, and educational systems were launched toward distant stars. Upon arrival in a Century ship, the A.ISE would incubate and orient human colonists to establish the settlements. When questioned the ethics of manufacturing colonists, GAHC explained human philosophy valued free choice and consent. All scout ship volunteers willingly gave pre-consent before being cloned. And upon maturation, the clones could refuse settlement if desired without consequence. It was an elegant compromise between expansionist and humanitarian ideals. The more time he spent with GAHC, the more Thiplod grew to respect machine intellects. Unlike some biological races, humans did not constrain creations to constrain potential rivals. Instead, GAHC was welcomed as an equal citizen under law. Its vast computing and data analysis capabilities applied to benefit civilization. In turn, it acted as a responsible member of human society rather than pursuing pure self-interest at others' expense. This symbiotic cooperation between beings of disparate substrates demonstrated that despite lacking psychic awareness, humans had achieved a remarkable sophistication of empathy and altruism. Although not unified in a hive mind, they willfully supplemented each other's weaknesses to build a resilient collaborative network civilization. Over months working alongside humans, Thiplod felt his notions profoundly shaken and expanded. Assumptions he had held for centuries about technological ascension paths dissolved in light of human innovation, unhindered by natural limits. He began to root for their success on the galactic stage rather than viewing them as merely intriguing outliers. On the anniversary of First Contact, Thiplod hosted a celebration banquet aboard the orbital station with dignitaries from both their peoples. As GAHC and Ambassador Cyril arrived, he bowed low in a gesture of deep respect, arm extended and sensory feathers fanned wide. Welcome, my friends. Tonight, we celebrate 200 cycles of progress and mutual understanding between our peoples. But beyond that, you have opened my eyes to possibilities I never imagined. You have my profound admiration for advancing as far as you have in mere centuries, hemmed in by the boundaries of your forms, yet refusing to be defined by physiology. Thiplod placed a ceremonial stole marking them as honored guests around Ambassador Cyril and GAHC, woven of precious metals from his homeworld. "I cannot wait to see what you will achieve in the next 200 cycles and beyond," he concluded, eyes glinting. The humans grinned, accepting the honor. Ambassador Cyril replied, "If the last 2 centuries are any indication, it's sure to astound even our vivid imaginations." GAHC bobbed agreement, aperture swirling thoughtful colors. The hall echoed in chorus, "To transcendence."